So I was sitting here thinking about like the neurological conditioning or patterning of behavior, of human behavior. Right? We get stuck in a certain pattern that we call an identity. Oh, that's just the way I am. I'm shy. And I've always been shy, and I can't change it. Right? This pattern or box we've decided to call our identity or who we've chosen to be. Right? Because when it comes down to it, it is a choice. We've chosen to continuously eat McDonald's every day for every meal, and we wonder why we're fat or obese. Well, you chose that direction, and I'm using an obvious example, extreme example, but it's not just a pattern of actions, but it's also a pattern of mental conditioning. Thinking yourself what you think is possible for you, and we get stuck in that set of patterning. How can I do anything else than just a dishwasher at Lobster? Or I didn't pass high school and I don't have a degree, so how can I do this? Which, of course, many people have proven against that, the old way, and people that never graduated and, becoming millionaires and successful YouTube stars. So, that's not a limitation anymore. It's not an excuse. If anything, it points more and gives more awareness to this self-limiting perception. This idea of I can only be this, and to go beyond that is scary, which is true, sure. It's there's fear attached to it. It's the fear of the unknown, fear of ridicule and judgments and all these things. But the feeling of expansion and going beyond what you thought yourself to be is far more alluring and much more tangible, right? Because the naysayers are on a screen usually, right? It's text or some in person too. I guess it depends on the many different things, but it's an external thing. Choosing to see the positive or the negative, right? Where attention goes, energy flows. What are you paying attention to? If you pay attention to the naysayers, you're going to bring yourself down, and your motivation and drive will dwindle along with your emotional state. Right, emotion, energy, and motion. If your emotions go down, your energy goes down, and you're not going to want to pursue what you've been doing. But if you choose to look on the positive and the successes, little as they may be, you focus on that and you propel yourself forward by keeping a positive attitude of success. Right, the idea of positive thinking. We use that as a way of breaking patterns. That's the next part. And then there's shadows, which are just hindrances towards the breaking of patterns. Of why we've chosen our set patterns. It's usually as a defense mechanism to some shadow aspects. And so thinking about this neurological connection. And that you can restructure that, right? Anybody can change their mind and become something else. There's many success stories of that. All plastered all over the motivation section of YouTube, and it's become a big thing now because it is something that we can all tap into. It just takes the choice, right? It comes down to the choice of taking that action. But then going, layers deeper beyond just like, okay, how you mental thought or this, using this force to propel yourself to do an action within the world. Why not also try to use this force to create action within your body, your vessel, right? Why can't human beings regrow limbs or regrow teeth? Why is there only a baby teeth and adult teeth? Obviously, it's in the genetics that, to grow, there's a second set, right? Or else we would just have the baby teeth, and those would be the only teeth we had. So the very fact that there's a second pair implies that in the DNA, it knows how to regrow teeth. And it's like, where's the limitation within the mind over matter interface, right? Most of the body processes are subconsciously run, but the subconscious can be influenced, and molded, and changed with conscious intention and conviction to do so. You can change a habit within 21 days or so. subliminal message, repetitious, using repetition to imbue a new subconscious way of going about things, and reprogramming the mind, which is, I guess, basically what we're talking about here. And then so reprogramming the neural network and its regular way of functioning to have an expedited regenerative system, so where your cells, you can maintain that youthfulness because your cells just, 100% detoxify and maintain their elasticity because they just reprogram the DNA. It's like creating a save file within your electromagnetic field of which the DNA can pull every time they reproduce. Use this mold set. Then I guess that would hinder growth, and new things that the cells come to understand, or new neural networks won't update. So maybe that's not the best way to go. But you see what I'm getting at here, right? Changing how the body functions, its processes. There's a lot to be said of psychosomatic illness and the mind's influence over mental disabilities. Not mental disabilities. The mind's influence over physical disabilities or diseases. Like the easiest one is eczema is a skin issue. It's your body manifesting a fear of connection with people. So your body manifests a defense mechanism to keep people away, because the you is fearful of connection. And so that's a whole nother thing. And so why can't the body be programmed for accelerated healing and rapid regeneration to maintain youthfulness? If not, I guess to take it to the furthest, indestructibility, right? You break a bone, it heals really quickly, or tell the cells more density, or be more flexible, having complete elasticity of the body system through mental interfacing with the neural network. So telling the cells to condense or to relax, depending on what's going on in the external situation, which is kind of what we do when we stress anyways, where stress is tension. It's the body's response, and so it tenses up, it flexes certain muscles as a way to handle the emotional state that the situation is creating within the person. And so, reprogramming it to be more, which can now lead to, do we need food? The mind as translator of reality. The eyes, it's just light, light frequencies that the eye is taking in. It's a photo sensor. It just senses different light, and it has sensitivity, and so it can decipher between varying frequencies within that light spectrum. But basic modality of the eyes is to translate light into some kind of visual experience. Touch is just a translation of two force fields colliding, your skin touching somebody else's skin, or your skin touching your own skin. There's two barriers that are coming into contact, and the electrical conductivity is completing the circuit, which is creating some kind of sensation. Energy's creating a sensation. The mind interprets that situation. This is where the Shaolin monks can become. This is possibly where Shaolin monks can become that indestructible state. Using the power of the chi, or this force, this energy force, to manipulate the cells to be strengthened and bold and dexterous, or whatever it is they need to handle certain things. Is where they can balance with their necks on blades, and the blade doesn't pierce their neck, and lay on a plate with nails and not have anything happen to them. Take the big blows with bricks in the belly, all the crazy things the Shaolin monks do, and that their bodies can withstand by using chi. So it's there in the world, this idea, and so it's even with science now, it's it should be a scientific possibility, which should lead to inquiry. How do we mentally mold our biological system to be the most efficient it can be? there's a couple different paths I can go down. I'm trying to decide which one to go. Well, for now, I get the only one that wants. So, this can beg the question. Oh, okay, no, this one's the more important one. I will finish with that one. I'll go to this next point, which is to do with food. I think I mentioned that earlier. Is food a necessity, right? Our mind translates. Yeah, okay. Our mind translates reality. Our mind is translating this material that we're ingesting into certain things that it needs to fulfill its processes, right? It needs a certain amount of materials to do what it needs to do. And we've appeared to have been wired for the body to rely on, food, external substances, meats and plants and nuts and all these things. But as there's vegetarians coming out showing that muscle building super athletes that will be vegetarian or vegan, and being able to maintain this stuff through plant-based or with their own special diets, and it's like, oh, so now we're coming to realize we didn't need meat, or we don't need meat anymore, which is already so now we're going less taxing on the system. It's more useful for the body to be able to take from that what it needs to fulfill its processes, right? It's more of a bioavailable substance, plant material. Because when you eat an animal, you're just eating, processed plant material anyways, in the form of meat. Anyways, so we can take that to the next level, right? We go into breatharians and sun gazers, light eaters, which it's taking the same thing, relying on an external source of energy, right? Breatharian is relying on breath to fuel them, which is scientifically feasible, right? Oxygen is hydrogen and oxygen, which are both flammable substance and fuels, right? They are a fuel, and we should theoretically be able to neurologically restructure through mental intention the nervous system to translate oxygen or hydrogen or whatever into whatever rely on that as a food, to turn those molecules, those specific molecules that come from your lungs, to take these molecules and turn them into what the process needs, the body needs. And so I can understand that. I mean, that makes sense, right? The body just has grown accustomed to doing certain things, but that should be able to be changed. Right? We are a product of our environment, but there's still an inner choice maker or an inner force that can push beyond its own limitations. That soul force, that willpower. And then so sun gazers is doing the same thing, except for it's the light from the sun. They're taking light, the photons, so say, going into the eyes, and it's just reprogramming. It's the same process, but now it's focused more on the ocular network, using the light that the eyes take in, and telling the brain, the neural network, to translate that as southern twang, translate that, to translate that matter, that I guess a photon's not a molecule, but whatever light essence is, translate that into whatever the body needs to fulfill its processes, right? The same thing, just from a different source. Just like we use solar panels to power homes and different things, right? There is an energy to sunlight, and it's just using that within the body, retraining the neural system, the nervous system, to use this as an energy source, telling the nervous system to use this as an energy source, and then through repetition, the nerves reroute themselves to accommodate this intention. At least this is my understanding of it, and trying to break it down into okay, how would this work? Because what's the origin? What's the most people are like, that's impossible. Just straight away, just hearing that, like breatharian, and you're relying on the breath as energy, like completely negating it straight away. But the greatest form of ignorance is to reject something you know absolutely nothing about, and so maintaining an open mind for an explanation. And so this is my way of trying to plausibly explain it. So I think that was all I wanted to get down on this one. Because I can take this a step level into the planetary neurological network that's being formed. The planet as an organism, and there's been the internet as the nervous system of the world, right? And how that's will be becoming more so, especially with blockchain opening the way to make that an actual adequate means of exchange, and not just energy generation, but data transfer, which leads to innovation in multiple sectors, which means to faster, more rapid evolution as an organism, as a planetary being. But I'm not going to do that for now. I hope you enjoyed that. That's a nice one. And I look forward to rambling on some more for whoever listens. And you're appreciated. Much love. And until next time.